This is Minecraft. I see videos all the time showcasing Minecraft with ultra-realistic graphics, but I never see anyone actually documenting what it's like to play with these mods installed. I decided to download a couple of mods that totally overhaul Minecraft's terrain generation, as well as mods like Conquest Reforged that add over 14,000 new blocks to the game, with the goal of starting a fresh new Minecraft world and experiencing how these mods actually play. Welcome back to our fresh start Minecraft world. Today, I think I want to start off by redecorating the tavern a little bit. Then a little bit later on, I also want to venture off towards those mountains and see what we can find over there. So I'm really happy with how the tavern is turning out so far, but it was brought to my attention that I actually made a pretty big mistake with the tavern. And that is, we don't actually have a fireplace. I feel like it's not really a tavern unless we have a fireplace. And I think this wall would be the perfect spot for it. So in the last video, I actually asked for some suggestions on what we should name the tavern. I got so many awesome suggestions. It's going to be really hard to decide what I end up going with. So after we get the fireplace done, I want to head up front and give a special shout out to the name suggestion that I got. So for the fireplace, I want it to be fairly large. I decided to get rid of the table that was there just so we have a little bit more room to work with. So I want the fireplace to be a little bit deep, so I want it to go in just a couple of blocks. And I think to really make the fireplace stand out against the stone wall, we're going to have to actually use a different type of stone for it. So the stone I want to use is actually this gray whack cobble, which I think looks really cool. And this will give us a nice contrast and really help define the fireplace here. So I can't believe I didn't really think about doing a fireplace, so I really love that you guys suggested that I do this. So for now, we're just going to be redoing the fireplace here in the tavern, but a little bit later on, I'd like to actually go out and explore the world a little bit. I don't quite know what I want to build today, but I'm sure as we explore, we'll come up with more and more ideas. So I really like how this gray whack cobble looks. I think since I don't have access to bricks, I feel like this is the second best thing. And this will help add a little bit of darkness and contrast to the build. As you can see, this is a much darker cobblestone variant. And I don't normally do a lot of fireplaces, so this is something a little bit different for me. So hopefully it turns out okay. All right, now to really complete the look, let's throw in some stairs. I guess technically we could do archways as well, actually, instead of doing stairs. What do you guys think, archways or stairs? This is such a hard decision. Maybe we'll see what archways looks like. So this is what stairs is. Actually, I think I like the idea of using archways instead. I feel like this is just gonna look that much better. Right, now let's replace these archways. So right now, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the archways on the bottom, but I do like the arch on the top, so we're gonna stick with this for now. So I don't think it's a proper fireplace without using campfires, just to give it that nice hearth look. And then, to kind of hide the fact that we're using campfires, I wanna use these quarter slabs. We can just place these like this. And this sort of hides the stone. That looks really cool. Conquest Reforged is one of those mods that I can really just nerd out with because there's so many micro details that you can do. All right, what do you guys think about the fireplace so far? I think we need to add just a little bit more depth on the sides to blend in the two different stones we have. And then I think it'd be really nice if we had a nice area rug right in front. Kind of what I want to do is I would like to actually make the archways extend out a little bit. This is going to be a little bit weird, but for some reason, I just feel like this will really work. Maybe we could do something like that. For some reason, I really like that idea of having the archways come out from the wall. So maybe we'll go with something like this. Then to take advantage of some of the blocks that Conquest Reforged adds, let's actually use quarter slabs, fill in these sections on the edge of the fireplace. I feel like that's a really cool look. I think that looks so much better than what we had it. Then let's come on the other side and just fill these parts in, again with quarter slabs. I feel like this is a really nice looking fireplace. I think to make this look a little bit better, let's actually add vertical slabs here. And that just kind of blends in the ceiling and the fireplace together. This is so cool. I really love the way this looks. All right, now to really complete the look of the fireplace, I think it's only fitting that we throw a little area rug right here in the front. With my area rugs, I tend to give them like really wacky shapes like this. I think this just looks really cool. There we go. Yeah, I love this. This really completes the look for me. And of course, we can't have a fireplace inside without having a chimney coming out the top of the roof. Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, this is just a quick reminder to check if you're subscribed. It only takes 1 second to do so, and I'd really appreciate it because I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers. Alrighty, let's get back to the video. But while we're on the way out there, I actually want to announce the tavern's name. So in the last video, I asked for some name suggestions for the tavern, and you guys came up with some amazing ideas. And it was really hard to pick which one I wanted to go with. So we're actually going to go with the Hungry Bear, which was suggested by Hellhest. So thank you so much, Hellhest, for your name suggestion. I really love that. So I think for the chimney here, I want it to come out right on this side of the building. I'm really excited with how this chimney is going to turn out. I think this is going to look so cool. Especially at nighttime, we'll be able to see the smoke billowing out of the chimney. So I don't want the chimney to stick out too far from the roof. I feel like this is the perfect height for it. And of course, we gotta add the campfire right here in the middle. And then I'd like to add a Gothic arch right on top, just like that. And then to add additional detail, we can take our quarter slabs and put these right in the corner. And this will give our chimney almost a rounded look. Maybe to add even more detail, let's knock out these blocks right here and go with quarter slabs like this. Perfect. I actually kind of realized we need to move the campfire down a single block. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, I think this looks really nice, and it really fits the theme of the tavern here. So now that we have a proper chimney and fireplace to add to the tavern, I think it's time we adventure off a little bit and see what we can find off in these mountains. Yeah, I'm really loving the tavern so far. This is super exciting. Actually, before we head off, we need to add in our mounted deer antler right here. And I was thinking of maybe even adding a basement entrance over in this area. What do you guys think about that? Having a little bit of a basement? I think that'd be kind of cool. Then we could have additional storage underneath the tavern. So let's quickly fill back in some of these blocks that we got rid of. And we're gonna throw this barrel in right on the side. Yeah, this looks so cool. I'm really excited with how this turned out. And the other day I was experimenting around with adding NPCs to the tavern, but I wasn't really too happy with how they turned out. But let me know if you guys would like to see me try and do that. Add some maybe NPCs or villagers sitting around the tavern, a barkeep keeping tabs on everything. I think that'd be really fun. So we destroyed this wooden table a little bit earlier when we placed down the fireplace. And I think right up here would be a nice little spot for it. So then you have a little bit of a balcony view here. All right, let's head into our room here. So in the last video, I actually picked up another dog out in the woods on my way to the tavern, and I asked for your guys' name suggestions. So I want to give a huge shout out to my channel member Evelyn for the name suggestion Luna, which fits perfectly with Tara. So a huge shout out to Evelyn. So Evelyn is part of the Sexy Hair Club, which is this channel's membership. And if you guys are interested in seeing videos just like this before everyone else does, feel free to hit the join button below or click the link in the description to learn more about the Sexy Hair Club. So we started the day a little bit late. It's starting to get a little bit darker outside, and the tavern looks just gorgeous at nighttime, especially with the billowing smoke coming out the chimney here. The tavern really does feel like an oasis in the middle of these really ominous woods. So while we're waiting for it to turn daytime in the tavern, I think this would be an awesome time to do a little bit of decoration here. So recently I installed a mod called Believe, which adds a huge variety of different objects to the game that really fit the theme of Conquest Reforged. So we can add some utensils hanging down the wall here, just along the back of the bar. And I also wanted to add some tapestries because I feel like these would really help the bar come to life here and really help it feel a lot warmer and a lot cozier. So let's just add these just hanging around the bar here. Yeah, I feel like these tapestries really help give the space a nice cozier feel instead of it being so cold from all the stone. So I think to add to the ambience of the fireplace, I want to add this hanging cooking pot in the middle here, and also some herbs kind of getting smoked on top there. I think that's a really cool look. Yeah, I'm really happy with how the tavern is turning out right now. This looks so cool. I could just imagine after a long day of adventuring, you can hang out here, have a nice meal, sit next to the fire and warm up. This is such a beautifully crafted place. I'm so excited that I'm able to build all this and share it with you guys. All right, the night is still pretty young, so let's head off to bed and then we can start fresh tomorrow and start heading off towards those mountains. All right, it's a beautiful new day, and today we're gonna head off in this direction and see what we can find. I absolutely love the terrain generation in still life and in Lithosphere. It's really cool to see the sun shining through the trees and gives everything such a beautiful little glow here. It looks like it's actually raining here a little bit. I think eventually I also want to build a little bit of a fence around the tavern, but for now I'm quite happy with how things are turning out, and I absolutely love adventuring through the woods. I recently installed a falling leaves mod so you can see some leaves falling from the trees. It looks like we have a little band of creepers here. It's kind of funny. It's like they're like a gang of them hanging out here in the woods. There we go. That takes care of them. All right, let's quickly replace this dirt that we have here. I also kind of want to scope out a spot where we can build a little bit of a... Currently we have a very basic and functional one next to the tavern, but I think it'd be so fun to have like a proper mine entrance up here in the mountains that we can get all of our resources from. Let's make our way to the top here and see what the view is like. I absolutely love the terrain generation in this mod. You can just see that the forest here goes on and on for thousands of blocks. So I found this little hilltop here. This gives us a nice little overlook of the tavern down there, and we can even see the ocean. Maybe this would be a fun little spot for a lumber camp. I think that'd be kind of a cool little idea, just a little outpost. But let's take down this tree so that way we can get a better view of the tavern. Whenever I build worlds in Minecraft, I like to have all my base be really spread out because I like having a little bit of walk between each build. It just makes things feel so much more alive. So for example, having a mine up here in the mountains would be so much funner than having it down there because now there's a reason to actually come up and explore these mountains up here. So we're gonna want to actually get rid of this tree as well. And then we'll have a nice little overlook from our little lumber camp down to the tavern there. And eventually I want to make a nice winding pathway down the hill here and leading to the tavern. Yeah, this is so much fun. And I get a lot of feedback from everybody saying they enjoy watching my videos in the background, so I'm really curious to hear what you guys have going on. If you're playing on your own Minecraft world, or if you're playing other video games or working on stuff, feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear about it. There we go. Now we have a much better view of the tavern from up here, and we can even see the ocean from here, which is really, really cool. Looks like we had a creeper behind us. All right, so let's start clearing out some of these woods. I think it'd be really fun to have a little bit of an outpost out here. I think the funny thing is much time, I've already put a couple of hours into this world and I still don't even have diamond tools. I really tend to take my time when I'm playing Minecraft. It's just kind of how I play. I think it's kind of funny, as much as I do play Minecraft, I wouldn't consider myself a good Minecraft player. I've only ever beaten the game once. I think right on this hilltop's gonna be the perfect little overlook for us. I want to leave this tree here because this one looks really, really cool, but we can get rid of some of these other trees. Basically, my goal with this world is I really want it to be nice and interconnected. So I want to have lots of winding pathways between our builds, just because it gives us a nice excuse to actually walk around and explore. So now I just want to quickly flatten out this hilltop here. That way we have a nice open base to start building things. I think I want to leave the most of the trees intact around the tavern. So that's why I want to build the lumber camp up here on the hillside. Oh, let's place down some torches here. And the woods have such a very nice, ominous kind of feel to them. Just because they're so dense, you never know what you're going to find exploring the woods here. For example, these creepers. So you can see we already found a group of zombies coming here. So the woods are definitely not the safest place in the world, but thankfully we're really well geared with all that iron that we brought from home. Perfect. What's kind of funny is you can even see our house on the hilltop through the trees. You can see it just on the cliffside over here. I really love mods like Distant Horizons because it really lets you see your builds. You can see how everything's connected. And I can even see some torches over there. I think that's where our nether portal is. I got the suggestion in a comment to actually build a ruined church over the nether portal, and I think that'd be so much fun. That'd be such a cool way to connect the nether to the overworld. So I just want to lightly start building up something here. Maybe even a watchtower would be kind of nice. Just like a wooden fire watchtower is sort of the thought I was going for here. I really do most of my building without any sort of plan. I just kind of build what I'm feeling at the time. There's actually quite a few hostile mobs up here, so we got to be really, really careful with everything. Oh yeah, I think having a watchtower up here would be perfect. Then this area will be so much safer from mobs. Yeah, it's kind of weird. They keep, there's so many mobs kind of swarming me at the moment. We may need to actually go back home and build another sword here. Mine's about to run out from how much fighting we're doing. Let's quickly take a break to eat some bread. So as you can see, these woods are really, really dangerous. We constantly have mobs coming at us from all directions here. Alright, so now that we have a nice little clearing out here in the woods, I think we should make ourselves a little bit of a watchtower. I think that'd be really, really cool. So I want the watchtower to be 7 by 7 because I really want it to stand out on the horizon here. And I think I'm just going to do a combination of spruce logs and oak slabs, just kind of using the trees that we have surrounding us here. And the good thing about building in the woods is we have plenty of trees we can take from here. And I was kind of thinking about if I want the staircase to be inside the tower, like in the middle, or if I want it to be on the outside. And I'm kind of thinking I want it to be on the outside. I think that'd be kind of nice. So for the staircase, I'm thinking we can just do oak like this and have it follow along the outside of the tavern. And I want it to do something like this where it just wraps around. So maybe I'll start off with the staircase here, kind of build my way all the way up. Doing the staircase first, I feel like will help me determine how high I need the tower to be. My goal with this tower is I want to be able to see the tavern and my house off in the distance. And eventually I want to connect my house all the way to the tavern. And then I would like to connect the tavern up to this watchtower that we have here. I feel like this is a perfect height for the staircase. Now I'm just going to surround the entire thing with slabs on the top floor here. And then eventually on the inside, I want to actually build maybe something similar to a fire watchtower. I think would be really, really cool. So it looks a little bit wacky without the structure underneath it, but now that we have a basic staircase, it gives us a scale for the height that we're wanting. And it's already nighttime again, so I'm at least glad we're off of the ground because this will at least protect us for mobs, at least for a little bit here. So now mobs can't get to us quite easily. You can just knock them off if we need to. And I'm thinking I just want the supports to go every 4 blocks, just like that. We can kind of light up the tower as we go here. Looks like this zombie dropped a potato for us, which is actually really, really nice. So we're gonna have to actually cut down a lot more trees if we're gonna want this to work out here. We are quickly going through the 2 axes that we brought with us. So we are gonna have to stop in at the tavern later tonight. Yeah, this will be really nice to have this observation post up here because this will give us safe, sort of a safe haven that we can stay at during the nighttime here. You can see so many skeletons and creeper explosions here. But since my sword is solo, I think we'd be better off just heading home. Yeah, it's really nice coming home. The woods are so dangerous that the tavern really is just this oasis in the darkness. And I don't want to bring our dogs with us because the woods are so dangerous. I'm constantly having to fight off creepers and all kinds of skeleton mobs. But let's see if we can see the tower from down here. I guess we can kind of see it. It looks a little bit weird just because we don't have any of the supports going up, but that'll help give us the height that we're looking for. Yeah, this is going to be really, really cool. My whole goal with this world is I really want it to be super interconnected, so I want to build a pathway from our house all the way to the tavern, and then eventually up to our tower once it's complete here. And you can see distant horizons gives us just a beautiful look at the world around us. I'm really curious to see what the view is going to look like from the top of this tower when it's finished. So this is going to take a lot of wood, but I feel like it's so worth it. We had to actually start clearing out some of the trees that were nearby, but I think once the tower's done, it's going to look so cool. And it's going to give us a nice little base out here in the woods that we can build from. I think I want to do these little, I guess, cross sections, just every 4 blocks up, I think would look kind of nice. So I ran out of oak slabs, but I was able to complete this section of the tower. And now we can get a better look at what this is supposed to look like once it's complete. Yeah, I absolutely love how alive this world feels. So now what I want to do is actually give our tower a little wraparound balcony. I think this would be really nice. My inspiration for this is it's going to be sort of a fire watch tower. So I'm going to save myself the trip back down and just make all my slabs up here. Now, this is absolutely stunning. I'm so excited to be building this right now. At first I wanted to do like a lumber camp, and maybe we could still do that at the bottom here, but I really like the idea of having a watchtower up here on the hill. And I'm looking out at the ocean and I noticed that there's actually some islands out there. That is so cool. Yeah, this gives us such an amazing view of the world here. Right, now we just have to fill in these little bits here and we're done. At least for the basis of the tower here. So kind of getting a faraway shot of the tower. I feel like the stilts underneath look very, very thin. So I'm thinking we can thicken that up just a little bit. So what I'm thinking we can do to thicken up the frame here is just come inside the corners here and do, instead of spruce, we're gonna do oak. And I feel like this will just, it'll help kind of enhance the look that we're going for here. I'm just kind of using a different variety of blocks here. Yeah, I feel like filling in the inner corner here with the oak logs is gonna help it look like it's not on stilts and it's actually a base. I that it's built on top of. Oh my gosh, look at the sunset coming through here. Oh, this is so beautiful. And then on top here, I want to actually do a like a little bit of a cabin sort of thing. Oh, this is absolutely stunning. Love the way this looks. Oh, you can imagine with the sunset shining on the tower when it's finished, it's gonna look so nice. Perfect. Now it doesn't look like our tower is built on stilts. This looks so much better than what we had it as. We'll have to come in and actually fill these in. Maybe what I'm thinking we could do is we could just kind of bring the columns all the way through here. Kind of a cool look. And maybe even on all the corners of, to make the base look even better, I actually want to add some stairs as well. So what I'm thinking for that is on the corners here, let's just cut out the corners and then add in some upside down stairs. So kind of looking, I think it would look better if we actually had the stairs facing out like that. That to me just looks a lot, it makes more sense if it goes like that. So unfortunately we just got killed by a creeper, so he blew up most of our tower, but at least it's mostly intact here. But these woods are seriously so dangerous. This tower is definitely much needed. Yeah, this tower keeps getting bombed by creepers. At least we have some of the tower repaired here, but we're gonna have to really light up the woods next to this because we keep having creepers sneaking up on us. And it looks like we have a wandering trader visiting the tower here, which is kind of cool. It's a cool sight to see a friendly face here. Thankfully, there's no gravity in Minecraft, so we don't have to worry about the tower like toppling on us here. But there we go. Tower repaired. And I want to see what the wandering trader actually has for trade here. Looks like he has some coral blocks. I'm thinking we should steal the llamas. I think it'd be kind of funny. So a really easy way to steal the llamas without hurting the wandering trader is just put a boat next to the llamas. And they'll usually get into it and break the lead. Got a skeleton shooting at us. But let's just place down the boat here. Hopefully the llamas get into it. All right, let's see if we can steal the llamas. So we got one, and we got both of them. Cool. Now we have some llamas that we can hang out with us here at the watchtower. I think I may need to add a railing to this staircase, but for now I feel like it's fine. You can see the moon shining through the mountains here. This is gonna be so cool once it's finished. I'm just gonna go for a really basic log cabin type look for the top of the tower here. Beautiful new start to the day. The tower is coming together pretty nice. We did have a few hiccups here and there with the mobs attacking us, but I think overall we're making good progress. And thankfully we haven't really lost anything. So we're gonna do the tower mostly out of wood, just to fit the aesthetic of it being a watchtower. Of course we gotta have a couple of windows in here. Oh yeah, this is gonna look really, really cool. Now let's give our tavern a basic little dark oak roof here. And the reason I want to do dark oak is because I feel like this will contrast really nicely with the oak that we're using underneath. We have to be really careful here. I am like holding shift this entire time because I do not want to fall off of this thing and die. Yeah, I think using the dark oak for the roof is going to give us a nice contrast. Pretty much whenever you're building, it's really important to switch up the materials you're using. That way everything doesn't look super plain. All right, now let's just connect our roof here. Now the fun part of just connecting the two halves of the roof together. I'm not sure, we might actually have just enough dark oak stairs. What do you guys think? Do we have enough to get it finished here? Oh, probably not actually. We're gonna have to go back down and grab some more. Oh, wait, no, hold on. I think we had just enough to get this done here. There we go. Perfect. Add a ladder so we can get up to the top here. I think the rest I'm just gonna fill in with regular oak planks. Nothing too crazy up here. I'm just happy we have the roof done. And I'm really curious to see what this is gonna look like now that it has a roof on it. Oh, this actually looks so cool. I'm really curious to see what the tower looks like from the tavern. I think we're gonna actually give it a tall door. Perfect. Maybe this could have like a little bit of a loft to it. I think what would be really nice is if we actually had some windows up here in the attic. Let's move our crafting table inside. Put ourselves a chest down here. Yeah, this tower just gives us the perfect view all the way around. You can see way off. That's eventually where I want to build my mines. You can see the ocean from here, the tavern down below, and our house off on the mountain there. All right, we need to give ourselves a little bit of a railing. I don't trust myself on a tall building like this to not have a railing. For the railing, I want to use these rustic fences. I think these look really, really nice, especially with the nice little cross beams that they have here. Now I'll feel much safer actually walking up here. Oh, just in time for sunset too. This is perfect. Of course, we got to add some slabs on top of these planks here. Yeah, this is absolutely stunning. So getting a zoom out here, you can see that the tower looks absolutely perfect up here on the top. And from the tower, we can see everything we need to see. Right, now that it's nighttime, let's actually light up the tower here just a little bit. Eventually I want to come back in here with lanterns because the lanterns would look so much nicer. It's actually kind of cool. With distant horizons, you can see the our nether portal out there, some of the torches we placed along the pathways. This is really, really cool. I'm really excited with how this is turning out. Yeah, it's really nice coming back home after a long day of working. We might have to get rid of some of these trees that are right here so we can get a better view of the tower from down here, but maybe we could get rid of this one. Yeah, I feel like that helps us see the tower a lot better from the tavern here. The good old hungry bear. Yeah, that actually looks so cool. All right, let's head inside. We got our trusty dogs waiting for us here, Terra and Luna. We are going to need another name tag for Luna though, so maybe we'll have to go find some pillager camps and grab ourselves one. So with the tower mostly done, I think a little bit later on I actually want to start a little bit of a mine in the mountains over there. But before we do that, I want to actually start furnishing the tower a little bit here. So I brought a stone cutter and a bed with me, set our spawn point here, and we need to add some windows in here. So I think I'm going to go with these wooden gothic windows. I feel like they're really, really nice. Then we're going to also want a nice tall door here as well. Add some windows up here. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the attic. I almost want to leave it open, but not too sure right now. There we go. Now we have a nice tall door into the tower here. So I want to add some nice window sills here to the windows using these quarter slabs just like this. And then while I was in the woodcutter, I also noticed these wooden planters that we can put up on the windows here. Hopefully I don't fall while I'm doing this. Yeah, that's actually really cool. Now we have a nice little planter just above the window. That looks so cool. And I want to actually take these and add these to the tavern as well. To really complete the look of the tower here, I think we should add some window shutters. We'll kind of leave these nice and open. In retrospective, I probably should have made this walkway a little bit larger, but I'm happy with how it turned out. I feel like the window shutters add just a nice depth to everything. I feel like they really complete the look of the tower here. I think having a small desk in here really complements the look. We can add a notepad right on top here where we can keep down all of our observations and notes for the day. So I want to give the tavern a really nice tall roof. So let's do a combination of stairs slabs to give us that sort of effect that we're looking for here. Perfect. I think that looks fantastic. Let's actually move the desk on this side, our notepad, and then maybe we can actually use the attic that we built ourselves, put all of our storage up here. Because I want the bottom floor here to be homey. The woodcutter's more of a utility. Even up here you get a nice view of the ocean with the little planter right there. That looks so cool. I think to help make things look a little bit uniform, I want to add slabs right here in the corner. That way we don't see the oak logs underneath. We still have access to our ladder. This is really, really cool. Actually, I think it'd be really nice if we added a clothes hanger right here. Put all of our stuff up, and then a set of keys hanging down. I think adding little furnishings like this really helps the tower feel a lot cozier. Now I want to start adding in some lanterns just like this. And recently I added a mod called Believe, and this adds tons and tons of different items to the game, like this apothecary shelf here. This looks really, really cool. So let's come around the edges here and just add our lanterns hanging down like this. We'll have to light them up with our flint and steel. And I feel like the lanterns look so much better than our torches that we have here. Maybe we can just kind of dot these around the platforms that we have here as well, just to add even more light to the tower. All right, I think this is a good place for the tower. There is more details we can add to it, but I'm really happy with how it's turning out right now. Now that it's nighttime, I think we can spend the night here in the tower. And then I want to make my way to those mountains over there and see if we can start ourselves a little bit of a mine. I do kind of wish I brought my dogs with me, but they're safer at the tavern. Oh yeah, it's a beautiful morning here. See the sun's coming up. I absolutely love that we're able to see our tavern and our house from here. Let's make our way towards those mountains. I think what's really fun is that since the woods are so deep and dense, is that it's really only possible to travel during daytime because the woods are so dangerous. Oh my gosh, this is actually crazy. The woods are so dense, you can just see there's creepers everywhere and zombies as well. So eventually we are going to want to clear ourselves a pathway from the tower all the way to this mine over here. I just kind of want to light up some of the areas as we make our way to the mountains. But I love when we're able to get to these clearings because we can see the mountains off in the distance. We can see our tower just looming over the trees. This is perfect. Now if we're ever lost, we have a landmark we can make our way towards. I think it'd be so much fun to build pathways between all of our different builds. We have a really tall tree here. The terrain generation in Lithosphere and Still Life is actually so mesmerizing. I kind of lose track of time when I'm walking through the woods, just exploring around. The change in elevation is so nice, and I really love how biomes generate in here. It looks like we found even more dogs up here. So I actually have a couple of bones. Let's see if we can get them. It's kind of nice running into different packs of wolves. We have 5 bones, so we should at least be able to get 1. Here we go. We got ourselves a Pookie, and we have 2 bones for this one. Let's see if we can get them. Oh, this is awesome. Now we have 4 dogs in total. So let's bring these dogs with us on our little adventure here. And again, I always love to hear everybody's dog name suggestions. So feel free to leave your name suggestions in the comments. And bonus points if your name has some lore behind it. And if I end up picking your dog name, I'll give you a shout out in the next video. Alright, now we're at another little peak here. We can still see our tower off in the distance. Kind of deciding, oh wait, we even have a ruined nether portal over here. I think that might be the spot that we want to start our mine in. It's going to be kind of interesting because the terrain is so uneven. I'm not quite sure how I want to do this exactly. Maybe we'll cut through the mountain underneath it and make just sort of a beeline path over to the mine here. The mine is going to be both decorative and functional. That's sort of my vision for it, but I want to give myself as much excuse to walk through the woods as possible because these are just absolutely stunning looking. It can be a little bit disorientating going through the woods, but since we have that tower put up, it's kind of nice. We can just, whenever we get to a clearing, we're able to look up and see our tower shining in the nighttime. But let's see what this ruined nether portal looks like. So here it is, the ruined nether portal up in the mountains, all by itself here. We gotta be really careful with our dogs. I don't want them to go in the lava, so we're gonna sit them down here. And let's see what's in the chest. Hopefully it's something kind of cool. I really want like a silk touch pickaxe. That'd be super nice right now. Okay, no silk touch, but we have some flint and steels, a golden apple, and golden chest plates. One with mending, which is really nice, and one with curse of vanishing, and golden horse armor, which is another thing I really want to get. I really would like to find some horses. Yeah, pretty cool. Right, I definitely want to collect this gold block that we have here. Same with that one over there. So what's kind of nice with Conquest Reforged is gold isn't completely useless. We can actually turn it into some decorative blocks. I think we have a nether portal that's really close to our house anyways, so this one's kind of obsolete, at least for what we're needing. But I'm going to take the chest with us. Wow, from the mountains we can see the ocean still, and there's this really cool valley over here. This would be such a fun place to put a little bit of a settlement, or maybe a farm or something. What do you guys think? It's actually crazy how tall the mountains are. You can see the clouds are acting as mist here. All right, let's take the dogs with us. Oh, this actually looks so cool. I love how the clouds are going into the mountains. Let's build the mine over in this direction. I want it a little bit closer for us. The terrain's actually a little bit difficult to navigate through, so I think having having the mine closer to the tower would be nice. See some foxes sleeping there, but finding that ruined nether portal was actually kind of cool. What's kind of funny is as much as I've been playing, I haven't even like mined down to diamond level or anything yet, so I'm still just with iron tools. But I find these early parts of the game to be very charming, so I'm never usually in a rush. There's our tower off in the distance. That looks just absolutely stunning with the sun shining through the clouds like that. Let's continue forward. We don't want to spend too much daylight out here. So I found a nice little clearing that I think would be the perfect spot for the entrance to our mine. It's just this little clearing here in the woods, and you can see the distant mountains way off there. We're gonna have to actually spend the night here. It's kind of crazy. This world is so large that it usually takes a day's journey just to go between our different locations here. But I think we should just start cutting in right here. This is where our vein miners are really going to come in handy as locations like this. Perfect, we're already finding iron and coal as well, which is really helpful. So I want to just build a very basic staircase down here. Or not even really a staircase, I'm just going to vein mine my way down and then kind of dig my way back up when I need to. So let's leave the dogs down here, or have them sitting down. That way they don't get hurt. And the idea with this mine is I want it to be not only decorative, but functional as well. So right now I'm just building a really crappy staircase out of cobblestone here, just so we can get back up to the surface if we need to. And the cool thing with Conquest Reforged is it's not only good for building houses, but it's perfect for building like really decorative mine shafts. So I'm gonna just start kind of mining my way back to the tower a little bit. See some torches that I placed on my way up here. And I want a little bit of a beeline from the tower all the way to the mine. Okay, looks like we found some creepers. So let's just head back this way. Maybe we'll come back during the day and actually start clearing our way to the tower. But for now, I want to start lighting up the surrounding area out here, just so it's at least a little bit safe. So something I've noticed with a lot of Minecraft YouTube content these days is most of the time when people build, they tend to build things that are very functional, and aesthetics and things like that sort of become an afterthought. It's almost the opposite of how I build. I build things almost purely out of aesthetics or just because I want to. So even in my normal Minecraft worlds, I don't really build a lot of automatic mob farms or anything like that. I love to build things that are just aesthetically pleasing. We have this nice little clearing in the woods. You can see way off in the distance is our tower. It's about a day's walk away, or maybe half a day if you don't detour too much. And then eventually I want to add a lot of stone around the entrance here. That way we can have a nice aesthetically pleasing mine shaft that we can build into. Alright, so now we have a staircase all the way down to negative Y35, so we can start easily collecting diamonds. So it's definitely impractical that we have our mine shaft starting so high up in the mountain, but I feel like it's kind of worth it for the aesthetics of everything. So now what I want to start doing is actually cutting a path from the mine shaft all the way to the tower, just so we have nice, easy access to the mine here. So yeah, my goal right now is just to chop my way down through the woods until we reach the tower. And then eventually I want to go back into the mines and start looking for diamonds. I'm really curious to hear if you guys like playing Minecraft in a more slow pace like I do, or if you tend to rush through things. It's kind of, I'm a couple hours into this world already, and it's like I'm just now getting to the point where I'm making a mine so I can get diamonds. So now, as you guys can see, we have a little bit of a pathway through the woods from our tower to the mine that we have here. And it's actually really cool that we're able to see our tower all the way from the mine. Eventually, when I have a lot more time, I would love to actually do a proper pathway with stone and with slabs and make it really, really smooth and easy going through these hills. But for now, I'm kind of content with just leaving it as it is. Just kind of a vague little outline through the woods here. And this at least makes it a lot faster than just having to dodge and weave between all the trees. And since we cut down so many trees, we have just an absolute abundance of wood that we're able to use here. So I think I want to smooth out this pathway a little bit using some terrain slabs and maybe even some fences between everything. But as you can see, it's nighttime, so we're dodging arrows here. And I'm really curious to see what our mine looks like from the tower. But I want to actually start decorating the mine as well here. So let's make our way up to the top of the tower. And I cannot get over the view from the top of the tower. This looks so cool. Looks like we can see the torches going all the way up to the where our mine is there. And maybe we should also make a pathway from our tower down to the tavern there as well. Just kind of outlining things with torches at first. And then when we have more time, because we have plenty of stone that we can use, when we have a little bit more time, then we can actually start making the pathway. I think we'll do that, but let's sleep for now. All right, it's a beautiful morning here. Now I think this is the perfect time to actually cut our pathway from the tavern all the way to the tower here. So let's go grab some iron from the mine and make ourselves a couple of axes to do that. So the woods are still pretty dangerous, but having a clear path is going to make this so much easier on us. And like I was saying, I would love to add just terrain slabs. That way it's nice and smooth and we can walk the entire thing without having to actually run and jump. Yeah, it takes about, I'd say probably 5 minutes to go from the tower to the mine, which definitely not good from optimization wise, but gameplay wise, I kind of like it. It gives me an excuse to wander through. And perfect, our iron is done here. So let's take all of the important stuff back with us, including the dogs. Let's lead our dogs back to the tower. I really love this pathway. It's going to take a lot of time to decorate it, but I feel like it's going to be worth it. The more time we spend in the world, the better, in my opinion. Oh yeah, let's get them. Let's see if these dogs can take care of the skeleton for us here. I always thought that was kind of funny. The skeletons run away from dogs. Here we go. They got him. Yeah, having dogs is actually really, really nice. All right, so let's make ourselves quite a few axes because we're going to need a bunch to chop down the trees from our house to the tower here. All right, so I'm thinking right about here is where I want the pathway to cut through here. And thankfully with falling tree, it makes it so much faster, not having to mine down the entire tree ourselves. Definitely a really nice quality of life mod to have. And along the way, I also want to just dot everything out with torches, so that way we can have a nice clear path in the nighttime to follow. This is going to be so much fun. Looks like right here is a nice clearing that we don't have to cut through. This is going to lead us nicely to the tavern, the good old Hungry Bear Tavern here. The really cool thing about clearing out so much of the forest is that we're just going to have more wood than we're going to know what to do with. So it's going to make it really, really nice when we start building more and more furniture. So I'm back at the tavern here, kind of trying to figure out where exactly I want the pathway to lead to. Thinking right on the side of the entrance here is a nice little spot. So let's quickly clear out all this grass that's here. And this will also make the woods a little bit safer. So it's just starting to turn sunset, and as you can see, we have a nice little trail of torches going from the tavern all the way up to the tower on the hill there. This is really going to be so much fun to do. And since it's nighttime, this is the perfect time to head back into the tavern, and we can bring our dog safely inside here. We're going to have to get quite a few name tags, so hopefully we find some, because I'm not sure if you can craft name tags actually. Oh yeah, this is really nice. We've been out of the tavern for so long, I feel like, so it's really nice to come back, just kind of sit down at the bar here, enjoy the nice warm fire. Yeah, I'm really liking the progress that we're making with this world so far. And I'm curious to hear if you guys have any name suggestions for the tower. I was thinking maybe like Heaven's Reach or something like that. You guys are a lot better at naming things than I am, so feel free to leave your comments. We got all of our dogs at the tavern, so it's nice and safe. This is really, really turning out to be one of my favorite worlds of all time, and I'm really glad I'm able to experience it with you guys. We can sit down, journal our thoughts for the day. We got Terra and Luna here. All right, now that it's a brand new day, I think it's time we take some terrain slabs and actually start smoothing out the terrain between the tavern and the tower. So these terrain slabs are part of Countered's terrain slabs. So in Conquest Reforged, we are able to make terrain slabs, but I prefer using countered slabs just because countered slabs can actually grow grass on top, which will be really helpful. And this will really allow us to make a nice smooth pathway from our tavern all the way to the tower on top. And as you can see, with Countered's terrain slabs installed, there is actually some terrain slabs already here. So we won't have to do the entire mountain. We'll only have to fill in a couple of spots where it decided not to generate terrain slabs. Maybe eventually we'll even do little blotches of stone. I don't want to do the whole pathway out of stone, but I think just doing a few blotches here and there would look kind of nice. You can see now we have a nice, easy pathway up. We don't have to jump. We can just walk our way straight up to the tower. So I'm thinking since this section of the cliff face is so steep, maybe we can actually just do stone stairs here, which would make sense because it's built into the mountain. Yeah, I really love to give myself just huge projects like this because I feel like it makes it so much fun. And honestly, the more time you spend in the world, the more ideas I feel like you get. Yeah, having slabs between the blocks like this it really makes the change in elevation kind of cool. Now it adds like a sense of adventure to everything. It's not perfectly even, so it's like pathways and hills flowing through everything. And I kind of like the idea of the pathway being overgrown like this. All right, so we do have this little bit of awkwardness here on our trail here to the mine. We have a really big change in elevation from the bottom to the top, and I'm almost thinking it'd be better if we made a staircase to the mine instead of trying to make slabs all the way through here. You can see at nighttime, even though we don't have any lampposts or anything, the trail has a nice peaceful aura to it, which I really like. So this part, since it is so steep, we're gonna have to use a couple of stairs here. And I kind of like that the trail isn't perfectly secure. I know that's kind of weird to say, but my thought process behind that is it gives the world like a sense of danger and a sense of adventure. So let's just build ourselves a little staircase all the way up here. I'm not really thinking about the placement too much. I'm just kind of placing the stairs in a rough little outline here of where I want them to go, because we can always come back and change things if we don't like how they turned out. Now that we're up at the top, we can switch back to slabs. I think the combination of slabs and stairs is really what's going to make this work for us. Let's clear some of this out here. Oh, I absolutely love this, how we're able to see the tower as we're walking towards it. Distant Horizons is without a doubt one of my favorite mods of all time. Making our way up to the mine here. And I think along the way from the pathway, I'm just going to kind of dot in cobblestone every once in a while, like just sort of blotch it in. I'm kind of thinking out loud at this point. There's just so many ideas that I have for the world, and if you guys have any ideas of what we should build next, feel free to leave it in a comment. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. So yeah, along the way we have skeletons that can kind of attack us, So it gives the world a sense of adventure, I feel like. It's kind of boring if the world's perfectly safe, in my opinion. And the pathway is clear enough that it's easy enough to run if we're really in danger. Alright, here we are at some more steep bits, so let's just switch back to stairs. I actually really like the mix of stairs and slabs here. Just makes it a lot less, a little bit more interesting in my opinion with nice variation. Alright, and here's the mine. And we haven't even started decorating the mine quite yet. I'm really excited to actually start doing that. For now, the mine is very, very functional. This is perfect. Now we have a nice, basic little outline of a pathway. Now what I want to do is actually start blotching in some cobblestone, just so it gives our pathway even more of a pathway look instead of it just being a trail through the wood. And we're going to want to grab a couple stacks of cobblestone here for this. That should be just about enough. And all I want to do is start cutting out little shapes just like this, filling it in with cobblestone. And as you can see, with it blends in perfectly with the grass because of connected textures. So this is going to look really cool when it's finished. That way we don't have to do the entire pathway out of cobblestone, but it gives us like little markers to walk towards. And it looks really cool. It just looks like the pathway's a little bit overgrown. Perfect, and we made it back to the tower here. Let's just fill in the rest of these. Now as you can see, we have these nice little dots of cobblestone just throughout the pathway. It just kind of makes the pathway look like it's overgrown rather than it just being a cut through of the trees. So I think this looks really, really cool. And I love how the textures just kind of blend and connect with each other. And I want to actually do the same thing heading back towards the tavern. So same idea, just cutting out little shapes, coming in, filling it all in. And then what's cool with a pathway like this is we can always add more to it. And I think that's something that always keeps me coming back to Minecraft, is always wanting to improve the builds that I have. Because the longer you play Minecraft, and the longer you have a Minecraft world, your building skill is just really going to progress over time, especially so coming back and changing some of your builds is really a good way to keep yourself playing on a Minecraft world. Now we have a nice basic little pathway, like a vague little outline of what we want to do. And now when we want to, we can come back later and start adding maybe some lanterns throughout or whatever we feel like doing at the time. But this will make traveling between our little settlements here so much faster. So now we have some nice pathways interconnecting all of our base together. I think it's time we give our tavern a proper little entranceway here. Just something really simple. So I think I want to have a nice arched gate leading to the tavern. I think that looks really, really cool. And I think to really complete this look, the thing I really want to add is these spiked iron gates. I think these look fantastic. I feel like this is a proper entrance to our tavern. And I'm not quite sure how I want to do the fence around the tavern. I was thinking maybe just a simple wooden fence with some stone intermittently spread throughout, but for now I just wanted to start off with the gate out front. So I'm really liking how the tavern looks on the inside, but I really want to add these blue and green buntings around the roof here, and I feel like this will really add to the aesthetic of everything. Then we can also add these yellow and red ones as well. There we go. I feel like these give the tavern a more festive sort of feel. The goal here is that the Hungry Bear is just a really merry and friendly place, or at least it feels very homey to the people that stay here, even if it is only for a few nights. I think these really, when I think of a tavern, for some reason I think of these buntings just hanging off of the ceiling like this. This looks absolutely stunning. I love this so much. So around the tavern, I'd like to clean it up a little bit by getting rid of some of the torches here and adding lanterns instead. And I feel like this will give our tavern a much better look. Just having some lanterns hanging off the edges here, or the corners of the tavern. And I was even thinking of how we could integrate a basement into the tavern, because I think it'd be so nice to have a really large basement filled with like wine barrels and all kinds of just extra storage. Now we have some hanging lanterns all around the corners of the build here. I feel like the tavern will look just that much nicer at nighttime. And I was even thinking of adding some flower pots on the windows, just like we did on the tower up there. I think that would look really cool here as well. So I don't want to do it on every single window, but I think on a couple of windows it would look kind of cool. Yeah, I think underneath every other window would look kind of nice for this. I feel like this just gives the Hungry Bear a nice warmer sort of look. I think especially on the front window here, this would be a really good spot for some. I think for me it's all about the details that really make the build. By themselves the details don't really do much, but when you combine them with other things, that's when the builds really start looking nice. Really love how these planters look just kind of hanging out outside the windows here. Where do you guys think a good spot for a basement would be? I was thinking it'd be really cool if we actually had the basement entrance be on the exterior of the tavern. So I was thinking maybe we could have a pathway that wraps around the side here, and then a staircase that goes down. That'd be kind of cool. And that would give us a reason to come to the back side of the tavern. Or alternatively, we could have a pathway that goes this way, and maybe we have a basement up at the front. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys think about that. I'm also wanting to build maybe a horse stable up here as well. So maybe somewhere in this area would look really, really nice. And then once we have some horses, we can hitch them up. I think that would really complete the tavern for me. Now I think we start lighting up our pathway, and I'm just gonna do a really simple wall with a torch. And we just want to go along the pathways here, kind of following along the pathway that we were working on a little bit earlier. Along the way, I'm going to be getting rid of some of the torches. And I feel like this just gives the pathway a much more built look, and it doesn't look so, I feel like it looks a lot better and a lot more polished than just having torches laying about everywhere. This is such a fun world. Honestly, this is the most fun I've had playing Minecraft in a long time. Just something about kicking back, relaxing, and playing on a world without really trying too hard or planning things out too much really feels special to me. And again, if we need to, we can always come in and change up the position of some of these lanterns if we don't quite like where they are. It's never a big deal. We'll get a better look at how the lanterns actually look at nighttime, so we can see if we need to add more or take some away. It looks like the llama's disappeared, but we have a pig here now. Let's take some of these lanterns and actually just light them up around the watchtower here. Yeah, I feel like replacing the torches with lanterns looks just so much better. And honestly, building pathways is one of my favorite things to do. Kind of a random tip I can throw in here is if you're ever running out of ideas for your Minecraft world, just give yourself random little projects like this. Fill your world with random pathways that don't really lead anywhere, and just give yourself random projects like this, and then you'll slowly be able to come up with more and more ideas as you continue to build. That's sort of my mindset behind that. This looks so much nicer, and I want to redo this staircase, but for now I'm going to leave it. And I really do like that this pathway isn't like the most well-established, or it's not the most secure thing in the world. So there is a nice sense of danger as you're walking through the woods at nighttime. I think if it was perfectly secured and everything was super well lit up, it wouldn't have the same feel. And for me, I think building that makes you feel a certain way is what it's all about. We just have a couple more lanterns here. And of course, we still have our mine entrance that we can work on decorating, but I think I may save this for a different episode. But just going through the woods at night, you can see how much of a difference the lanterns make with the ambience of the trails here, especially in this area since it's a little bit wooded. Yeah, I may have to change up some of the positioning of the lanterns, but I feel like for now this looks pretty nice and it gets the job done. Let's place the last one right here. Perfect. I really want to see what this looks like from the top of the tower, how the trails look. The tower here was really like a last minute sort of off the cuff moment, but I feel like the build turned out really nice, and it really allows us to appreciate the world that we have here. Well, this looks fantastic. We can see the trail of lights going all the way up to the mine, and then it's kind of hard to see this side, but you can see some of the light shining through, leading to the tavern down there. Oh, that looks stunning. And it's kind of hard to see, but we can actually see the smoke coming from the tavern, showing that it's lively and jumping down there. And of course we have our house on the hill way off in that side. Well, it's gonna look so cool when we complete the trail from the tavern to our house, because we'll see a nice trail of lights following through the valley there. So normally I would stay at the watchtower overnight, but I kind of feel like walking through the woods a little bit and just enjoying the ambience of the world. There's so many times I'm playing Minecraft super late at night, and I have either my favorite YouTube videos playing, or I have some of my favorite music playing, and it's such a vibe. It's one of my favorite things to do. Minecraft is one of those games where I can just turn off my brain and chill out, and just, it's sort of a creative outlet for me. So we're being chased by a couple spiders here, but not that big of a deal. I think I placed some of these lanterns a little bit too close together, but we can always come back in and change that. These ones I feel like are a good distance away from each other. Here we are. I love the little blotchy stone pathway we have here, leading to the tavern. Not quite sure how I want to do the fence around the tavern, if I want to do a fence or if I want to do a wall. Maybe a hedge would be kind of cool too, But that's the fun thing. We have so many possibilities that we can do here. Stopping in for the night and rest here, throw our shoes off. So we got 2 of our trusty dogs here. I love these. I feel like these really add to the story here. So I feel like these walls look a little bit plain, so I want to just throw some random decorations here, like some hanging shelves, some notes on the wall. Maybe these are bounties for people. And I also decided to move the pillager banner over here by the bar. I feel like this is the perfect spot for it. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this longer, chiller type of video. I feel like we got a lot done today. Not only is the tavern coming together very nicely with the fireplace now we even have trails going through the woods leading up to the watchtower that we built. And this is just a stunning view of the watchtower with the sunrise in the background. So anyways, if you guys have any more ideas for this series, let me know. And thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Have a good night, and thank you so much for subscribing.